Namaskar. Welcome to our YouTube channel, Aaradhya, the Gateway of Knowledge.
जैसा कि आप सभी को पता है, आज यानी 4 अक्टूबर 2020 को यूपीएससी प्री का एग्जाम कंडक्ट हुआ. On request of some of our viewers, we are today going to analyze the polity section of GS paper 1. So let's start the discussion. Question number 1. A parliamentary system of government is one in which, and the correct option is answer B, that is, government is responsible to the parliament and can be removed by it. Actually, in parliamentary form of government, that is in India, executive is part of legislature and is responsible to the legislature for all its policies and acts. And this is a basic difference between parliamentary form of government and presidential form of government, because in presidential form of government, executive is not part of the legislature and therefore is not responsible to it. Question number 2. Which part of Constitution of India declares the ideal of welfare state? And out of 4 options, option A is correct, that is directive principles of state policy in part 4 of our constitution, and this is under article 38, which says that state shall promote the welfare of the people by securing a social order through justice, social, economic and political. Question number 3. Consider the following statements. Number 1. Constitution of India define its basic structure in terms of federalism, secularism, fundamental rights and democracy. Now here lies the catch, because basic structure is being defined in all these things apart from fundamental right, because fundamental right per se is not part of basic structure. In fact, in Keshavnand Bharti case, it was clearly been stated that Parliament can amend any part of the Constitution, including fundamental right, as long as it does not alter any basic structure of the Constitution. The second statement says that Constitution of India provides for judicial review to safeguard the citizens' liberties and to preserve the ideals on which Constitution is based. This is a correct statement. So the answer is B. Question number 4 is, one common agreement between Gandhism and Marxism is, and out of 4 options, the correct answer is A, that is the final goal of a stateless society. We all know that both Gandhi as well as Marx consider state to be evil and therefore aim to create a stateless society. As far as the other options are concerned, class struggle and economic determinism are exclusively Marxian concept. As far as the third option, that is abolition of private property is concerned, Marx stood for abolition of private property. But as far as Gandhi is concerned, Gandhi very well knew that to carry forward international movement, he needed support of the local bourgeoisies as well. Though he did talk about trusteeship of property, but he never exclusively talked about abolition of private property. So correct answer is A. Question number 5. In context of India, which of the following is the characteristic appropriate for bureaucracy? Out of 4 options, option D is correct. That is, bureaucracy is a non-political executive and therefore an agency for implementation of public policy. Question number 6. Now this is tricky one. The preamble to the Constitution of India is, and the correct answer is answer D, that is a part of the Constitution but has no legal effect independently of other part, and this came after the judgment of the famous Keshavnand Bharti case. Number 7. Now this is another very easy question. With reference to provisions contained in part 4 of the Constitution of India, which of the following statements are correct? Number 1. They shall be enforceable by courts. We all know that DPSPs in part 4 of a constitution are entirely not enforceable by the courts. Option 2 says they shall not be enforceable by any court, so this is a correct option. Number 3, the principles laid down in this part are to influence the making of the laws by the state. We all know that DPSPs are a form of directives to the state for policy making, so this option is also correct. So correct answer is D. Question number 8. Consider the following statement. Statement 1. According to Constitution of India, person who is eligible to vote can be made a minister in the state for 6 months even if he or she is not a member of legislature of that state. Now this statement is not correct, because if we look into the qualification of a minister, it says that if a minister is not a member of a parliament, then he has to be elected either to Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha within 6 months after his appointment as a minister. And the same holds true for any state legislature as well. So this statement is not correct. Statement 2 says, according to RPA Act 1951, a person convicted of a criminal offence and sentenced to imprisonment for 5 years is permanently disqualified from contesting an election even after his release from the prison. Now here the word permanently disqualified is very important, because that convicted person shall be disqualified, but he shall not be permanently disqualified. He will be only disqualified for a further period of 6 years since his release. So both the options are not correct. Question number 9. Consider the following statement. Number 1. President of India can summon a session of a parliament at such place as he or she thinks fit. Now this statement is correct because President shall from time to time summon each house of the parliament at such time and place as he thinks is fit. Second statement says Constitution of India provides for 3 sessions of parliament in a year, but it is not mandatory to conduct all the 3 sessions. This statement is not correct. Statement number 3, there is no minimum number of days that the parliament is required to meet in a year. This statement is correct, but of course between 2 sessions of the parliament at least 6-month times needs to be there. So option C is correct. Question number 10. It says Rajya Sabha has equal power with Lok Sabha in, and there are 4 statements given. Statement A says the matter of creating new All India services. Now this creation of All India services is a special power which has been given to Rajya Sabha in India. So this statement is not correct. Statement C and D are exclusive powers of Lok Sabha, which says removal of government and making cut motion. So the only option left is amending the constitution. So option B is correct since Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha both the houses enjoys equal power in many matters like impeachment of the president, removal of vice president and constitutional amendment. So option B is correct. Question number 11 says, with reference to the fund under MPLAD, which of the following statements are correct? Statement 1 says, MPLAD funds must be used to create durable assets like physical infrastructure for health, education, etc. This is the correct statement. Statement 2 says, a specified portion of each MP funds must benefit SC and ST population. This is also correct because as we know that for SCs 15% is being earmarked and for ST population 7.5% of this MPLAD fund is being earmarked. Statement 3 is very important. It says MPLAD funds are sanctioned on yearly basis and the unused funds cannot be carried forward to the next year. Now this statement is not correct because in case the fund is not being released in that year, then it can be carried forward, the unused fund can be carried forward the next year. Statement 4 says that the district authority must inspect at least 10% of all work implementation every year. This statement is also correct. So out of the 4 statement 3 is not correct. So correct option is answer D. Question number 12, this is very easy. It says which of the following categories of fundamental rights incorporates protection against untouchability as a form of discrimination? Now out of 4 options, of course option D is correct, that is right to equality, because we all know that under Article 17 of the Constitution untouchability is being abolished and right to equality includes article from 14 to 18. So option D is correct. Question number 13. Now this is also a very easy question. In India, separation of judiciary from executive is enjoined by, and out of 4 options, option B is correct, that is Directive Principles of State Policy. We all know that this comes under Article 50 of our Constitution, which says that judiciary shall be separated from executive and state shall take steps to separate judiciary from executive in public services of the state. So option B is correct. Question number 14. Now this is another tricky question. Along with the budget, the finance minister also places other documents before the parliament, which includes the macroeconomic framework statement. The aforesaid document is presented because this is mandated by, and out of 4 options, option D is correct, that is provisions of FRBM Act 2003. This comes under section 3.5 of FRBM Act 2003, which says that a macroeconomic framework statement will be presented before the parliament at the time of union budget presentation. So the correct option is option D. Question number 15. It says a constitutional government by definition is a, and out of 4 options, correct option is limited government, that is option D. This is because we all know that constitution seeks to limit and regulate the unfettered exercise of power by political actors or the government, and therefore correct option is D, that is limited government. Question number 16. It says other than fundamental rights, which of the following parts of the Constitution reflects the principles and provisions of Universal Declaration of Human Rights 1948? Correct option is option A, that is preamble and DPSPs. Fundamental duties does not bear resemblance with Universal Declaration of Human Rights as per this question. So correct answer is answer A. Question number 17. Now this question is going to gather a lot of discussion. It says that in India, Legal Service Authority provides free legal services to which of the following types of citizens? Now, out of 4 options, according to me, none of the options are correct. And I'll go one by one. The first option says person with an annual income of less than 1 lakh. Now, each state has different level of annual income criteria for free legal service. So, first statement is not correct. Second statement says transgender with an annual income of less than 2 lakh. Now, only Delhi has defined the limit for transgender, not all the states. So, second statement is also not correct in that regard. Third statement says members of other backward classes with an annual income of less than 3 lakh. Now, there is no such reference of OBC as far as the official NALSA website FAQs are concerned. And the fourth statement is all senior citizen. Senior citizen eligibility for free legal aid depends upon the rule framed by respective state governments. So the fourth statement also is not correct. So according to me, none of the statements are correct. Now coming to the last question in the polity section. Consider the following statement. There are 4 statements given. We have to find out the correct one. The 4 statements are, and I am reading one by one. Aadhaar metadata cannot be stored for more than 3 months. This statement is not correct because according to Supreme Court majority decision on Aadhaar, metadata cannot be stored for more than 6 months. Second statement is state cannot enter into any contract with private corporations for sharing of Aadhaar data. This statement is completely correct because Supreme Court struck down Section 57 of Aadhaar Act which allows sharing of Aadhaar data with private entities. Statement 3 says Aadhaar is mandatory for obtaining insurance product. Now, as per Ministry of Finance and Gazette notification dated 19th August 2020, client now retains their choices to furnish any other form of identification instead of Aadhaar. So, this statement is not correct. Statement 4 is Aadhaar is mandatory for getting benefits funded out of Consolidated Fund of India. This statement is completely correct because only those benefits which are being drawn from Consolidated Fund of India would require the proof of Aadhaar number. So, correct option is option B. Our analysis for polity section is that overall it was easy apart from few tricky questions. Stay tuned as we are coming very soon with the analysis of other sections of UPSC GS paper 1. Till then, like, share and subscribe our YouTube channel Aaradhya, the Gateway of Knowledge.